Have you ever reviewed your content, looked at your analytics, or wrapped up a busy month and thought, okay, what do I actually do with this information now? Because reflection is powerful, but reflection alone does not grow a business. So just grabbing those numbers is not going to tell you what you need to do. The action behind all of that does. One of the biggest gaps I see in marketing is that business owners are often collecting the insights, they're grabbing them all like a little bit of gold, but they never turn those insights into campaigns. They'll notice the patterns, they'll see the engagement, they'll hear the recurring questions from clients, but then they'll move straight on to the next thing. Instead of building the strategy from what they already know, from what those gold nuggets, those little things you've collected have told you about. So today I want to walk you through how to turn reflection into an actionable campaign in a way that's practical, repeatable, and actually useful within your business. Because your marketing should not feel random. It should feel informed. And when it's planned, we set ourselves up for success, especially with these reflections. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to reflect with purpose. Most people reflect too broadly. They ask what worked, what didn't, which is standard, but that keeps the reflection pretty vague. Instead, we need to reflect through the lens of action. So some better questions to ask yourself when you're reflecting on what's worked in the past is, what questions am I being asked repeatedly? What conversations keep coming up in comments or DMs or places where I hang out? What problem is my audience struggling with right now? What topic sparked the most engagement from what we've been sharing, and what content got saved and shared? And then what content led to bookings? What content felt most easy or natural to create because we can do more of that easily? And then what objections keep coming up around my offers? But here's the important part. I don't want you to just answer these questions mentally in your head, because it doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't create action. We want to write the answers down, physically, preferably, not typing, because patterns become visible when we constantly track them. So once we've written them all down, we've got to look for the patterns. One good post is interesting. A repeated topic that's performing well, that becomes part of our strategy. And this is where we actually stop reacting emotionally to marketing and start making some informed decisions. For example, maybe 3 different people asked about pricing confusion this month. Maybe your mindset posts consistently create conversation. Maybe your audience keeps responding to content about overwhelm or whatever topic it is. And maybe one email topic outperformed the rest that you've sent. This isn't random. This is the foundation for campaign direction. Our audience is already telling us what they need. And the best thing is we just need to pay attention long enough to hear it to turn it into an actionable campaign. After we've looked at those questions, those challenges, those things that people are coming together, we've identified the patterns, we want to put them into themes so that we can use them in our campaigns. So, for example, if your audience is overwhelmed by a topic or they're asking the same question, you could create a campaign about how to simplify the overwhelm about X, Y, Z, whatever's coming up. If your audience struggles with consistency about what they need to do to look after themselves, you can do a campaign purely around how do they be consistent. If they keep asking about how to use your product, you can run a campaign of handy little tips about how to use your product or service. Because in the end, it's their questions, their patterns, the things that they are visiting regularly, they're saving, that's going to give us the idea about what the campaign we're going to run. So all of a sudden, we're no longer waking up overwhelmed by what we're going to do. We're using the stats, we're using the reflections that we've got from the information we're already putting out there to create a really good campaign. And the final thing to make sure we succeed in this space is each campaign needs to have one clear message, not 20, just one. So you'll ask yourself, what is the main thing I want my audience to understand from this campaign? So whatever the problem or the pain point is, you need to be able to do it. So if we're talking about overwhelm, you don't need to do more of this. You could try this, or you could do this, or 7 steps to do whatever it needs to be. Clive has a 7 steps one. It works really well. Marketing becomes easier when you focus on that helping component here. And that's all we're doing. We're reflecting, we're looking at the questions, we're looking at the things they're asking, looking at the content they're saving, and we're going to turn that into a reflection campaign. So once we've got that one clear message, that campaign, becomes an anchor piece for the campaign that we're going to create. One campaign should never become just one post. One campaign should be multiple assets. I think as business owners, we say, oh, we've done the video on this or we've done the video on that. We don't need to do anything more. But a single campaign based around solid anchor content can be a podcast episode, a blog, 5 or 6 short form videos, an email newsletter, stories, possibly even a webinar and a live training session. You bring all those assets together. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're going, this is my campaign. This is my topic. It's informed by my audience, and you create depth around the topic. So they're going, okay, I found something. I'm ready to climb up the tree a little bit further and go to the next bit. And then we want to make sure that we match our content to our customer journey, because not every piece of content that we're going to create out there is going to create an order straight away. Some content's going to be the awareness stage where they're just finding out. Some's going to be trust. Some's going to be educational. And some is going to be that conversion campaign where we get the sale. So when you're building out your marketing and you're reflecting on the campaigns and the stats that you've already done, make sure that you look at each piece of content, each piece of information, and reflect on those stats and use that to build your next campaign. Not every campaign needs to be brand new. Sometimes we've got to look at what's happened in the past, reflect on it, and make it a part of our next campaign. Until next time, I'm Linda Reed-Enever. I help you create impact by teaching you what I do, and I hope this episode has been helpful for you.